What I'm presenting right now is some really recent, again, customer data that we've gathered in terms of customer behaviors. And one of the most interesting things on this one here, so the blue is 2015 and the green is 2016. And one of the really interesting things we found is that behaviors are shifting a little bit. So the typical direct, they had 40% of new shoppers for auto insurance were using a direct model. And that's actually shifted. They've dropped down 4%, and the winners lately have been brokers and agents. And so we did a lot of thinking as to why that might be. And perhaps I'll get to that in that most interesting third slide again. So anyways, let me find the page down. There it is. So then we asked the same question in terms of future intent. So what's going to change going forward? And this is, again, it got quite interesting because direct, they said when we asked people, where do you think you're going to buy from in 5 years? And what's interesting there is people really became more and more unsure. They're very aware that lots of things are changing and they don't actually have an idea yet that don't know. So you can see group goes down, agent goes down, direct and broker are holding steady. But 1 out of every 4 people isn't sure where they're going to be how they're going to buy their insurance in 5 years. And I think that is a massive, massive amount of the market that really is what people are going to be fighting for. Now here comes the interesting bit. I know, lots of dots, lots of circles. So last summer, what we did, we actually endeavored to measure, so those dots on there are actually all of the insurance brokers in the non-GTA in Ontario. And what it's measuring is 2 things, their digital aptitude and their core marketing and sales. And so obviously it comes in a typical kind of cluster where you kind of see, okay, here's your segments, and you can see where average is. And many times in the past, you've always said, okay, well, you have your 4 quadrants, you have your bad, you have your good, bad, et cetera, et cetera. And what's happening here is we actually then, we then use some k-means analysis to try to figure out, okay, if we don't put any of our biases into clustering this, what will it actually look like? And so it comes up with, instead of 4 main clusters, it comes up with a 5th one that you can see way up there in the top right. So here's what's interesting about this. So all this cluster of green dots in the middle, what we then looked at was, what also are the growth rate differences of all of these various brokerages? So the green ones are pretty average, and so average, let's say the number is around 3% over the last few years. And in the red bucket are brokers where the easy next thing to do is then to get into your, gain some digital aptitude, redo your web page, think about your SEO, things of that nature. Try to find ways to be engaged in that.